All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope y'all enjoyed the last show. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it was chapter 22 of Said, and it is on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and on my YouTube channel, which is Said. So please go subscribe, go like it, share it with a friend if you enjoyed the last message. Before we get into things, as usual, we're going to pray. So, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you and we thank you for this divine encounter. It's nothing short of a miracle that we're coming to you right now, that we're still alive. And we just appreciate you and we thank you for your grace and for your love and your hand working in our lives. Father, I want to lift those up who are in depression, who are in sickness, who are in troubled times in their life. Father, in Jesus' name, I pray that any sickness, any depression, any anxiety, any troubled thoughts that is going through people, any relationship issues, family issues, that it's all broken. At the sound of my voice, I declare that their family is restored, that their health is restored, that their body, their mind, and everything is restored in your name, Jesus Christ. And that they feel healthy, full, whole, and that they're able to live out a fruitful life, a life of many years. God, thank you for being our provider. Thank you for being our protector and our healer. And thank you for guiding us down this road, down our lives. Thank you for everyone who we come into contact with, and may we be the light to them. And when they see us, they see the goodness and graciousness of God. So thank you so much, Father. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. So I'd like to talk to y'all today about finding the root. And I want to start off with the story. So there was this farmer who had this horse, and he took his horse out one day, on a trail ride, and they're going through the woods, hopping over things, and the horse didn't make a jump over this tree that had fell down, over this log. And when the horse had fell, it injured himself. So naturally, the farmer takes the horse to the vet, and at the vet, they see that the leg had been, injured. She performed, surgery on it, cleaned it up, got it all good and well, and then, sent the farmer back home. Well, and sent him home with medication as well. So about 6 months later, the horse started, at first the horse was doing well for that 6 months, and then the leg started to really, start to rot. Things weren't looking good. The horse couldn't really walk very much. And so naturally the farmer takes him back and kept repeating this. And then took it back to the vet. Vet would say, no, nothing's wrong. I mean, we took care of everything. Everything's fine. Send him back home. And then they'd give him some more medication. Maybe it's stronger, whatever. Maybe it just takes some more time. It's a real big wound. And then eventually he got tired of it and was like, my horse, just can't live like this. And the finally took it back one last time, and the doctor actually did some real work on it, dug deeper into the the cut into the wound, and found that there was actually a piece of bark, like a good chunk of bark that was lunged into the horse's leg. But they didn't know that because the first time that they went into it, they couldn't see that. But, and then that's why the horse was hurting whenever you went home. And so the doctor finally went in deeper and took out that big bark, make sure everything was out, stitched him up, sealed him up, and the horse was fine, right? So the whole point of that story is that you need to find your root into the root cause. In the natural, it looked like, to our eyes, to the farmer's eyes, it looked like something was wrong with this horse after they already went and got it taken care of. It must be the horse's problem. It just must be defective. There's something must be wrong with it. And maybe you're going through something in your life right now. I know I have in my past. I thought I had dealt with it. I thought, I've addressed this issue. I've addressed this problem. I went in and I really was, somewhat honest with myself and got rid of either this addiction, or I said I was going to quit doing this. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. But really I was lying to myself. And like, we've all been there, like we say, oh man, we have a night out and they're like, man, I'll never do that again. I promise. Or like, it's like, hey God, it's me again. Please, I'm sorry I messed up. But we don't really mean it. You're just surface leveling it. You're just more or less putting a Band-Aid on your issue. You're more or less applying medication to your problem. And it's not going to fix anything. So finding the root cause to what you're going through. We're stuck in this thing of we're not in a natural world right now. Yes, we're here on earth, but we're in a spiritual battle every single day. Absolutely every day. There's something deeper than what the eye can see. If you're going through depression, if you're going through anxiety, if you're going through an addiction that you're fighting, if you have anger problems, if you're whatever it is that you're struggling with, it's not you. Okay? There's something wanting to dwell within you to make you think that it is you. You are a good person. There are good things. You are destined for greatness. Don't let the enemy lie to you and tell you that you are depressed or that you are anxious or that you, my family, has this addiction, so I have it too. My family did this, so I'm going to do it too. So it's a lie from the enemy to get you stuck of where you're at, to make you think that it is a surface level thing, but you have to go beneath the surface. And what it comes down to is you being honest with yourself, truly being honest with yourself, asking yourself, what is it that I want? What is it that really is bothering me? It's not your parents. It's not your spouse. It's not your friends. It's not someone who did you wrong. You are in control of your situation and your destiny. If you're trying to get better and you're still hanging around friends who are, let's say if you're a guy, for instance, and you're hanging out with friends who have no respect for women, meaning they just treat them as dogs. You're constantly looking at other women when you have a girl. That is not going to get you to where you're trying to go. So it's not your friend's fault. It's your fault for hanging out with them. That's your environment. You're going to be what your environment is. So the first step that you need to do, one, is remove yourself from your friends, which I did. Just to be honest with you, I did. I had that thing where I was removing myself. And the thing is, when you're with God and you're praying, he naturally will remove you when you're trying to get better. He'll naturally make that separation. It's strange. He'll start making you see that your friends are operating different, that they're doing things that you don't approve of or that you don't align with where you're trying to go. So you'll naturally start to to repel from them. But I removed myself from my friends at one point who were just out doing things, having addictions, doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. But that still didn't sit right. That still didn't help anything. Well, it did, but there was still something going on. And what it was that there was like a family curse of being a womanizer, or being a not a very truthful. I wouldn't say not very truthful, but lying to myself on thinking that I'm not something when I am. I was avoiding it. So I had to address the issue and look and think like, oh man, my grandpa used to be, quote unquote player. My dad was a player. My dad told me, hey son, are you talking to, or you got your girls, you got this or that. It wasn't a proper way of being raised, that you look at women as you need to have an abundance of women instead of having one good one. Wasn't taught that. So the root that I had to find was more or less that this is something that had been told to me, and like more or less society too, that the music I was listening to, there was so much. I mean, I can go on. The friends I was around, the music I was listening to, all of this was lying to me and taking me further from who I really needed to be, which is who I am today, is a faithful, loving husband. And I've always wanted to be that. I just didn't know why I wasn't getting there. But realizing the people I was kicking it with, the music I was listening to, and we know the rappers, and that's why I used to listen to rap, even country music. Country music will make you want to drink more. It'll make you want to smoke, or it will make you want to be really in your feelings and down and out. And just let's enjoy a good old time when you're really not. You're running from what the true issue and the true root is. You're basically, quote unquote, giving yourself medication and not addressing the real issue. And medication absolutely does nothing but numb your spirit. So when we have these things like, and I'm not talking about medication in the sense of when we're talking about diabetes, or when we're talking about having asthma, or we're talking about certain things. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is having addictions, like an addiction of, for instance, being a womanizer, being a drunk, being a smoking a lot of whatever it is that you smoke, cigarettes, vape, weed, whatever it is that you're putting it in between you and your spirit. You can't think soberly. In the Bible, there is this verse that says to be sober and be vigilant. For your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking to devour whom he may. So I was saying in the beginning is that we're not in this natural world. We're in a spiritual world. And so when you're not sober, demons come into play. That's why they're called spirits. I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you look at Specs, look outside, or if you look at Total Wine, or if you look at wherever it is, it'll say, wine, spirits, and this and that, right? And there are spirits inside of that drink that takes over you. That's why when you go through something and someone says like, man, you weren't yourself last night, or that person is not themselves, they change whenever they drink. And it's true, they do change because it's not them anymore. It really is something else taking them over. It's something taking you over. And so even when you smoking, even if it's smoking weed, if it's smoking vape, even if it's just anger, even if it's something that basically is, you're not sober, you're not in your right mind taking over you, the devil is in the play. So also another thing to do is whenever you're having conversations with people, let's say someone is drunk and they're going off, or they're being aggressive, or they're being rude, most of the time it's not them. You need to remove yourself, if not have patience with that situation, because they're truly not in their right mind. They're absolutely not. And I know people that say that they're a social functioning alcoholic, or they're a functioning drunk, or a functioning drinker, whatever the case is, right? You're still not yourself. That person may not see it, you may not see it, but we see it. But people who are sober at that time see it. People see when you're mad. People see when you're angry. People see when you're being a rude parent. They see that because you're not in your right mind. You're not being who you need to be. And so you need to go find that root. You have to be honest with yourself is what it is. You have to be really honest with yourself and go find and go dig. Why do I think this way? That was a big thing for me. I asked myself not too long ago, I was thinking like, why do I think this way? Why do I do these things? Why? And it's what it is having a life of intention. And it's like, instead of telling your kid, get away, and yelling at them, think. My parents used to tell me that all the time. Get away, get out of here, go away, stop being around here. And so naturally, I started doing that even to my dogs. I would tell them get. I wouldn't give them love initially. I tell them get, go away. And I started thinking, why do I do that to them? It's not fair. They're just loving. Same thing with kids. Kids are all loving, man. They're all loving. They just want to have fun and play. And yeah, sometimes you're busy and it can, but that's whenever you need to take the time from yourself and with yourself to say, well, am I really managing my time correctly? Find the root. Am I Am I playing video games, or am I spending time to help my child out, learn how to be more obedient and play games with them that get them interactive to get them to start being more disciplined? Instead of going out the night before on a Friday, and then you should be taking your kids out on Saturday, go spend some time with them. You're too busy having a hangover, or you're too busy having your own plans or your own things. And I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with having self-care and things like that. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of root into why you do the things that you do. And it's time to start asking yourself, why is it that I say the things that I say? What is it that I'm trying? If I tell my kids to get away and go away, it's fine. But what's the purpose behind that? If you're telling your person, your spouse or whatever, a certain thing, why is it that you're saying that? Be intentional with your words. Be intentional with your thoughts. Be intentional with your thinking. Be intentional with what you read, what you watch. If you're sitting there watching, if you're a single person and you're sitting there watching movies that have a bunch of heartbreak and depression, if you're watching if you're reading a bunch of books that are a bunch of sex books or a bunch of I forget what the author's name is, but if you're reading a bunch of things that's about breakup and about drama, and your life is filled with drama or breakup or hurt or heartache, then that could be due to what you're reading and what you're soaking into your eyes, what you're putting into your head. Be intentional. If you want greatness and you want to have a great job, go read a book about being successful. Go read someone who find a person of influence who has done the field that you're looking in, and be intentional and have that seed take root and water that and grow in that, instead of wasting your time watching, Netflix, or wasting your time doing things. Go spend more time with your family. You want to have a good relationship with your parents. You want to have a better relationship at work. You want to have a better relationship with your skills. You want to become better, fine-tune your skills. Stop giving time and attention to things that are taking you away further from what you're supposed to be going towards. It's finding your root cause to yourself, and it's hard. I'll tell you, it's hard. It's hard being honest with yourself. It's kind of like this. It's like, you ever get real tired, and let's just say like your house is getting piled up. Let's say laundry, for instance, right? Let's say laundry, because for me, laundry is, I love washing the laundry. I love drying it. Sometimes I'll leave it in the washer. I'm guilty. But I hate putting it up. I just can't stand. I don't know why. I have the hardest time. I did it. I'm halfway there. I just can't put it up. Right. And but thank God I have a great wife who puts it up, at times for me. So a little teamwork there. But what I'm trying to say is that whenever you have a pile of clothes, a pile of laundry, you've been putting it off. And not only that, let's just say the dishes are getting put off too, right? And when you first try to go in and try to clean up, it's tiring. It's a lot, because you've let these things pile up. You have not addressed them. You have neglected them, and it needs to get done though. People are noticing. People are coming over. If you're a guy, you're bringing a girl over and she notices you're a slob. If you're a girl and you bring a guy over, he notices you're a slob. Maybe your wife's telling you, hey, pick up after yourself a lot, because you're letting things get up, like getting piled up. So when you go to address that issue, that problem, it's a lot at first, and it can be really overbearing, and you can get very tired. Whenever you're going at these lifelong things that you have built in you, whether it's an addiction, whether it is depression, whether it's anxiety, at first it's going to be a little hard. It's going to be tiring, and it'll require you some effort. And it may just require you to have an accountability partner, whether it be your spouse, your friend, someone close to you, someone that you really trust, someone that's not going to judge you, someone that's going to pour into you. But it's hard at first, and it's very tiring, and it's challenging. Life is very challenging. But it's no excuse to not be the best dad you can be. Truly be the best dad you can be. Be the best mom, best husband, best wife, best son, whatever the case, daughter, whatever the case may be. It's no excuse. For instance, it's like for like, okay, let's say if you have a vehicle, you have a car, right? And you weren't really taught how to change the oil or when to go get an oil change or how to change a tire or when to change tires or to know when your tires are balding out or yeah, your windshield's making squeaky noises, but it's still getting the job done. Whatever it is, your car is clicking, but you really don't know what to do about it. You know, you're getting run around at the mechanic shop, whatever the case is. Most of the time, depends on how long it's taken you to address the issue. When you finally fix that issue, it causes problems in other areas. Like when someone injures their foot, they're limping on it, it's hurting, so they're putting more pressure on this leg. So when they finally heal on this leg, the other leg is now injured or the other leg is now hurting or having strains or problems because it's been trying to take on this, trying to be a crutch to the other leg. So it's about sitting back and really taking a look at your life and trying to identify what priorities do you have in your life. And then finding the root to that. And it takes a lot of digging to find that root. And it's hard. And I've cried hard trying to find my roots. It is hard. It's not easy because most of the time when you're in this, when you're having an issue, it's you that has a problem. It's not anyone else. And yeah, although it's easy and quick to point the finger like, well, she had something or he had something to do. It's you. You have something that you can contribute or something that you can do or could have done to change the situation. It starts with you. If the world would be more accountable for themselves instead of really quick to put it on someone else and not take accountability, it'd be a lot better place. Take responsibility like, hey, you know what? I messed up on that. I know I could have stopped the argument, but I really wanted to win because I need to prove my point to you. And it's being vulnerable. It's being honest. I messed up though. And I'm asking you to forgive me. I need your help because I have anger issues. My dad used to yell at my mom. I'm just using an example. My dad used to yell at my mom, so I'm starting to realize that that's why I yell, because I sound just like my dad whenever I'm talking to you. Or whatever the case is. But it's finding a root. You're not the way that you are just because that's just the way that you are and that's it. It's the lamest excuse. It's not true. And it's quite honestly, it's like a manipulation tactic, and it's also a lame tactic to hold on to when you're apologizing. But by being vulnerable and being honest with yourself and then being honest with others, you can find some real trust, real common ground. Because and it takes you to be vulnerable for that other person also to be vulnerable too. And then it's finding these roots. We're in this world to get better. We are royalty. We have gone away from our Father, and we are trying to crawl back into shedding ourselves and repenting and getting rid of changing our minds and getting rid of these things that are holding us back from causing a blockage between us and our Father, our Heavenly Father. And so that's why it's important to get into the Word and get to know who Christ is. And in getting to know who Christ is, we try to be and imitate and be like Christ. We try to follow Him in His teachings, And one last thing that I want to touch on before we wrap it up is having credits and debits in your life. And this is something I got from my coach, Coach Roland, and he sent it to me because it was Matthew McConaughey's speech that he gave. So if you want to go look it up, it's a really good one. But Matthew McConaughey speaks on having credits and debits in your life. And when you go to address these things, when you go to address these roots, be aware of the credits and debits that you have, because you're going to start crediting yourself, meaning have a credit. You're going to be in good standings in the black with in the positive, more or less, with trying to fix yourself, trying to stop being angry, try to stop being these things. But all the while you're trying to work on these things and work on your addictions, you're having debits in other places, meaning while your attention's focusing on one thing, it's losing in another, to sum it up. So the plan and the thing is to try and have credits in all areas. Everything be in the positive, everything and then be in the black. I'm given the same amount of equal work and care. When I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm there for 8 hours. I'm there for 12 hours. I'm there for however long it is. And I'm here to work and give it my all. And then when I get home, I shut work off. I give time to if you're single, you give time to yourself to read a book, read the word of God, learn more about yourself, dig into yourself. And you have that privilege if you do. If you don't, and you have children, now give that time to your family. Give that credit and that positiveness to your family. And if you already do good things like that, you're doing good at work, you're being productive, at home, you're involved with your kids, then maybe it's time to go see your parents, your grandparents. Maybe it's time to go, maybe you do it all the time. Maybe you're always busy working. Maybe you're always busy doing these things. And it's time to give yourself some self-care and some time alone to just breathe and to just be in your own world. Whatever it is, work on figuring out having credits and debits in your life and in finding that root. And I pray that you do find that root. Ask the Father. I'll help you ask him God, and be honest with him. If you can't be honest with anyone else, just start with him. God, I struggle with, like I did. God, I'm struggling with, back in the day, I was struggling with drinking, not heavily, but I was struggling with smoking. Getting over vaping was really hard for me. But it's being vulnerable and being honest. God, if this is not for me, please take it from my life. Actually, Lord, whatever isn't for me, whether it be the person I'm with, whether it be this or whether it be that, take it from my life. Close the doors that need to be closed. Open ones that need to be open. I want to live a better life. I want to live a more free life. I'm tired of living in this sickness and depression. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of not having forgiveness for people. It hurts me holding on to this unforgiveness for this person who did me wrong. Take that from me. Take this root away, or show me what is rooted in me that I need to rip out and take away so that I can be more free, and replace it with your love and more of your understanding and wisdom and compassion. With that being said, maybe you're struggling with something that you've been dealing with for a while and you feel alone and you feel like, man, I've been doing it on my own. There's a song called Graves into Gardens, and it's by Brandon Lake. I highly recommend it if you've never heard it before. But it starts off by saying that it says, I've searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. And I'll let you go look up the rest to I don't know if there's copyright to that, but go look it up. Graves into Gardens by Brandon Lake. But my point is that he says, I've searched the world and it couldn't fill me. Maybe you're out there looking for something of fulfillment, whether it's through the bottle, through a joint, through medication, through women, through men, through attention, through whatever it may be. You're searching the world and you're trying to find it. And it's temporary happiness when you find it. Maybe it could be a car. Maybe it could be jewelry, makeup, hair, whatever, clothes, whatever it is, even the gym, whatever it is. And you're still not satisfied. You're still not fulfilled. Well, that's because there is no fulfillment. You won't find it. I'm going to just give it to you now. You won't find fulfillment. Now, there's temporary joy in that, and it'll kind of help you out. There's scientific things about working out. It helps out release dopamine. There are certain things about whatever it is that temporarily helps you out, but it's all temporary, and it won't fill you up. And maybe you have been feeling alone, tired, and you've been dealing with a lot of things on your own. But there is one person who will fill you up and absolutely knows all the answers that you need. I know this with all my heart and all my soul, because it's having a personal relationship with the Lord, with Jesus Christ, with God. It's having that personal relationship. And I'm not inviting you. I'd like to extend an invitation to you. I'm not inviting you to join a religion. I'm not inviting you to do any of that. What I'm inviting you to do is to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior so that you can have a personal relationship, so that he can help you find the root and fill you up. Because it's easy to get rid of something, an addiction, anger, whatever it is. It's easy to get rid of something, but if you don't replace that thing with a better thing, that is just going to come back 10 times harder at you, and you're going to fall further and further and further into it if you don't have protection, guidance, wisdom, and all these things that are provided and that are given to you if you just ask and you just receive with your mouth. So using your key, using your mouth, I'd like to extend an invitation to you to accept Jesus Christ today. And the devil, the enemy in your head, the person is going to say, no, don't do it. It's a lie. It's hypocrisy. They're all hypocrites, whatever it is. Like I said, this isn't a religion. This is a relationship, a growth, a seed being planted so that it can grow into something much, much more greater than we could ever imagine or you could ever imagine. So just repeat this after me. Lord Jesus, I repent of my sins. Come into my heart, and I make you my Lord and Savior. In Jesus' name, amen. And if you said that prayer, Jesus is now dwelling within you, and his pureness and his blood is in you. Anything that you've ever done in your life, no matter who you are, what you've done, in the record book, if you go into the computer of your life and God goes and looks up Susie whatever, it has now been deleted, and all it says is saved by the blood of Jesus Christ. And it's not just saying those things. Your next steps is to pray, have a relationship, possibly join a church, tell a friend, tell me, message me. I have a gift for you. If you message me and tell me you said that prayer, I have a gift for you that I'd like to send you. And you could message me. You can email me at cedxsaid@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at cedxsaid. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please send it to a friend. If you have any questions, or if you like to participate in my poll, I do it on every single show from here on out. So it's on Spotify. You can go on there. You could drop a question of what you thought about the show, any questions you may have, comments. And I also have a poll on there that I'd love for you to just go ahead and say yes, no, or whatever it is that the poll may be. And I love your feedback. If you don't have Spotify, you don't have Apple Podcasts, that's fine. Leave a comment under the comment section on YouTube or on my Facebook, or send me a message. I'd love some feedback. Maybe there's something that you're going through. If you need prayer or anything, please reach out to me. And I just want to leave you with one thing, one prayer, and that is, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. And thank y'all so much for watching. God bless you, and love yourself so that you can go love someone else.